Alrighty. How's it going, Rocky Series podcast fans? Or is it Rocky Series, the Going the Distance podcast? Or is it Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast? Those are the questions that we often ask ourselves as we listen to this podcast. So, this is Ryan, your host, and Ruben would be with me today, but I'm in Fiji, and he's in bed sleeping. It's 7:20 p.m. Fijian time, and Ruben is in bed sleeping for his day of work tomorrow. But I just wanted to touch base with all of my listeners, and Ruben's listeners, of course, and all of our listeners of this podcast. Just wanted to say hi, and I miss you guys, and I miss talking to you guys, and I miss talking about Rocky. So this is going to kind of maybe be a rough episode because I am not going to edit nothing. There won't be any inserted audio files, which some of you might like. There won't be any, some of you might not like that. And there won't be any editing as far as my ums and ahs go. So I'll try very hard to not do that naturally. But I guess I just miss talking about Rocky and talking about Sylvester Stallone. As most of you know, I left on this Canadian Navy deployment out here to Hong Kong. We've been to Singapore, we've been to Australia. Of course, we went to Hawaii, and now we're in Fiji, and we're just over the halfway mark of this sail. And in the 2 months that I've been gone since April, my goodness, there has been a lot of activity in the Stallone world. And I thought maybe, well, since you guys are listeners of the show, you might want to hear my thoughts and takes on some of those things. I really wish I had somebody to bounce some jokes off of, and my brother Ruben, of course. But before I do talk about the show, I want to give some shout outs. Let's just get those out of the way first because that's important. So I want to first shout out, this is no order, so nobody get offended, okay? So the first shout out is to Christopher Goff, and he has a podcast that can be found on the Castbox app, and I believe this Castbox, that's Castbox, Castbox, this is an app that you can download on your phones, whether it's Android or Apple. I don't think it matters. In fact, I know it doesn't. His show is called Stallone Fanatics, and he's got a handful of episodes there that obviously talk about all things Stallone. I've been on there a couple of times myself, and if you're a listener of the show, you've heard Christopher Goff on the show already. He's a great guy, great host, and we also plug ourselves with us. We have our own show called Pop Goes the Metal Podcast, so check us out on iTunes and Google Play and all the, basically wherever podcasts are sold. This is a podcast called Pop Goes the Metal Podcast. So Christopher and I also do that show together. And check that one out. So the other shout out goes to a Rocky Minute Podcast. I say again, that's the Rocky Minute Podcast. And that is hosted by Doug Greenberg. And he's got big guns. He's a powerful, handsome man. And his co-host is the lovable and adorable Jason Haynes, who we all think doesn't like Rocky, but he does a Rocky podcast all the same. And that show is called Rocky Minute, and they are in between seasons, but listen to their season 1 breakdown of Rocky Part 1, and they'll be breaking down minute by minute Rocky 2 coming up soon. And yours truly, Reiner Balkan, was on the first season for a week. And I'll also be guesting again with Christopher Goff on season 2 with Doug and Jason. I also want to give a shout out to the godfathers of Stallone podcasting, to the Slycast. They are great. They're probably the best at all this between me, Doug, and Chris, but we just have more episodes than they have, so we're better, but they're the best, but we're better. Does that make sense? Just kidding. Hey, want to give our love and shout out to the Slycast. That's hosted by my friend, online friend. We haven't met yet. I haven't met any of these guys yet. I hope to one day. Craig Cohan and his co-hosts Jeff, and also Mike Akunda from the Yo Rocky Film Tour in Philadelphia. So I think I've plugged everyone I can plug. And speaking of plugs, Sylvester Stallone's hair. Cue the music. Just kidding. John Travolta's hair. Bruce Willis. Okay. Bruce Springsteen, Bono. Cue the music. Actually, I'm not even cueing the music. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in a hotel right now in Fiji. It's air conditioned. I'm lying on the bed. I'm a little bit tired. So I'm just going to start talking now about Rocky and about Sly and about the things he's been doing. So actually, speaking about Mike Kunda, why don't we just start off with that right away? So Mike Kunda, you can find him on Facebook, Mikekunda. Mike Kunda. He is the premier Rocky impersonator in the world, and he does the film tour in Philadelphia where he takes you around and zooms you around Philadelphia in the van of all the sites of the Rocky movie filming, gives you the inside scoop in the character of Rocky. He's got a true love and passion for Rocky and the character for 4 decades now. And he has met Sylvester Stallone before, but he had an incredible meeting with Sylvester Stallone during the filming of Creed 2 in Philadelphia, and that can be found on his Facebook page. So if you want to see Sylvester Stallone talking to somebody that I've talked to, that's my 1 degree of separation. I know it's not much, but it's all I have right now for meeting Stallone. So Mike Kunda and Sylvester Stallone had like a heart-to-heart and face-to-face chat, and somebody filmed it. And it's on his Facebook page, so check it out. Mike Kunda, Sylvester Stallone meetup. It's pretty cool. So yeah, as you can imagine, what a great gift to Mike and his dedication to the Rocky character to have this incredible moment. And even Stallone himself posted a picture of Mike Kunda the meeting together on his Instagram account. How cool is that? This is how cool it is. Like there's a part of me like I wonder if Sylvester Stallone even knows that I have a podcast. You know what I mean? Like I doubt it. I kind of doubt it, but I'm kind of hoping he does. Like there's a small part of me that wonders, does he know there's a podcast dedicated? I mean, he knows Mike Kunda's dedicated his life to Stallone, to the Rocky character. I wonder if Stallone knows there's a Rocky podcast dedicated to Rocky. But since I only have about three or four listeners, maybe that's not the case. But hey, maybe Stallone's one of them. You never know. So speaking of the filming of Creed 2, my goodness, not only has filming, I believe it's completed, like I believe it's done, and it's not surprising because these movies aren't big as far as like, Avengers big or Star Wars big, where they take 6 months of primary filming and, another 6 months of like post CGI effects filming. This is the Rocky films are pretty independent on their own. They've all been pretty low budget, and not in a low quality way, but just the budgets haven't been very high. And I think the highest budget films, of course, were probably the later ones just because of inflation. But I would imagine Creed 2 wasn't a very high budget film. I don't know what the budget is, but I would be surprised if it was over $40 million. They got an unknown director. See, I even forget his name. Ryan Coogler. I only know his name because of Creed. But Ryan Coogler, he's moved on to, of course, filming Black Panther and other things, and he wasn't around for Creed 2. But Stallone gave the directing duties over to another unknown black director, which is really kind of cool. I think it's really cool to... I don't know how else to say this, but I mean, Creed is a black guy. It's a black movie, and I think it's kind of cool. They're giving a black director a chance to film these and give their direction to this kind of culture. Like obviously Philadelphia has its own culture, and I wouldn't know how to direct. Put this way, I'll just use like Italians or speaking of Italian stallion, but just pick Greece or to pick Australia even. Like we just visited Australia. I can't speak to the culture of Australia, even though a lot of white people are there. I can't speak to the culture. So every people has their own culture, right? So I think it's really cool that. I should really Google his name. I guess I can go in front of the computer. That means I have to get off the bed. See, this is how live and raw this is, guys. I'll walk over to the computer here. So Stallone passed the directing duties to another young unknown director, and I can only hope and I can only imagine that this is going to give this director a shot in the right direction for his career as it did for Ryan Coogler. Because Ryan Coogler basically went from Fruitvale Nation, his first independent film with Michael B. Jordan, and then did Creed, and that was critically applauded and loved and by fans and critics. And then he was given the direction duties of a Marvel movie that made over $1 billion. So Ryan Coogler is a hot commodity right now. So let's see who's directing Creed 2. Of course, some of you already are yelling at me. I know who's directing Creed 2. That's good. I'm proud of you. But because this isn't on Facebook Live, you can't tell me. So it's Stephen Caple Jr. All right, so that's who's directing. Stephen Caple Jr. He's an American film director, producer, and screenwriter, and his credits include the movie called The Land that came out in 2016. And Forbes named Caple Jr. one of the 30 under 30 in Hollywood and entertainment. So good for him. He's on the rise. But his latest, biggest movie was The Land, and that was in 2016. Then he did a movie he's doing one right now called Grownish. Interesting. It's a spin-off of the ABC series Blackish. Okay, cool. So he's directed 2 episodes of that. And, of course, he's directing Creed 2. And as you all know, Creed 2 is the upcoming American sports drama film, and it's written by Stallone and a guy named Chio Hodari Coker. What the heck? So Chio Hodari Coker, I wonder if he did drugs in the 80s. Well, probably not since he's 45, but he's an American former journalist turned television writer. Okay. He's a producer and director known for such television series as Luke Cage, NCIS Los Angeles, Southland, and Ray Donovan. So Coker also wrote the screenplay for the 2009 biographical film Notorious, based on the life and death of the notorious B.I.G. So this guy is in charge of Luke Cage. I'm going to guess he's probably black, and I might be saying his name wrong. Chio Hodari Coker. Sorry. Yeah. So I didn't know that. Did everyone else know that this movie was being co-written with another person? I didn't know that. So this is the sequel, of course, Creed 2, to the 2015 film Creed, and of course the 8th installment in the Rocky film series. And of course we have returning Michael B. Jordan, Stallone himself, Tessa Thompson, which I like more now. I've seen her in other stuff. In fact, I didn't know who she was at all when I did when we recorded our Creed or talked about Creed. I thought she was the weakest part of Creed. I don't know if that was maybe just, I don't know. I'm hoping her role and her time in Creed 2 is better. I just, we have a hard time watching anyone but Adrian be the love interest. That could have been it. So she's a lovely woman, and I thought, honestly, because I thought she was singing in the movie, I thought she was like a pop artist trying to break, or a wannabe pop artist trying to break it big, but she is an actress first, so I stand corrected on that. She is an actress first, and she just happened to be playing a pop star in a movie. So my apologies to the lovely Tessa Thompson. I'm sure you'll be great. Dolph Lundgren. Okay. So people want to hear my thoughts on Dolph returning, and I think we've obviously spoken about this. This is pretty incredible. I've talked to people on Twitter and on Facebook, and a lot of people feel that, Drago was the villain, of course in Rocky IV, but was he really the villain? He was a soldier. Let's be honest here. He was a soldier. He was owned by the government, and this was the 1980s, right? He was told to fight with all of his strength, all his power. I mean, he was told the same thing, right? And this guy was just a killing machine. This was his job. And I don't think his intention was to kill Apollo. And I know we all hear the line, if he dies, he dies. And I could argue if Drago was in a court of law, he's not saying I intended to kill him. He's just saying, hey, if he dies, he dies. Like, he could have easily just said if he lives, he lives. But he chose the more non-friendly way of saying if he dies, he dies. So, I even at the end of Rocky IV felt somewhat sympathetic for the Drago character. And I know this sounds crazy. We know that his boxing killed Apollo, but I would argue that Apollo's pride killed Apollo. And then Rocky's, was it pride or Rocky's, if your friend said, hey, let me stand in front of a moving Siberian train. I mean, I'll say that's what he was called, was the Siberian train. But let's just use the metaphor or even the reality. Your friend's saying, hey, I want to stand in front of this moving train because I'm going to jump away at the last second, and you don't stop me. I'm going to be a stuntman, and I'm going to jump in front of this train. And if you knew at this moment that the train was going to hit your friend, and he told you, don't push me out of the way, do you honor his wish to not push him out of the way? Or do you say, dude, I can't watch this? And we know in the movie Rocky IV that the Rocky character was on the edge, man. He was on the edge. And we see Apollo looking at him, kind of shaking his head, like, don't you throw that towel. And I would almost argue that Apollo's character had a death wish. So is Dolph, is Drago, is he a bad person? Did he know his punch was going to be brutal? I mean, not brutal, but lethal? Well, it's up for you to decide. We know that Apollo died in the ring. We know Apollo put himself in the ring when he wasn't ready. He danced before the fight. He didn't train properly. And who knows? If he went in as hungry and as mean as he was in Rocky II, it would have been a different fight, my friends. Because even at the beginning, he was moving and grooving, doing pretty good. But, yeah. All right. So it will be interesting to see Dolph and gosh, I'm sorry, guys. It'll be interesting to see Drago and Rocky together on screen again. Absolutely, in those characters. Of course, we saw the two actors together in the Expendables series, But it'll be fun to see them together in character as Rocky and Drago, and to see what kind of confrontation or what they'll have to say to each other. Will Rocky forgive him? Will Drago forgive him? Will they bury the hatchet, or will they truly be enemies still? Or will the young ones be enemies and the older guys trying to tell them to calm down? So, I don't know. We'll see. I heard a rumor, apparently, that there is a scene with Drago and Rocky in Adrian's diner. Yeah. So we shall see how that goes. Okay. Next we have newcomer. Another newcomer. Stallone loves to find these guys, eh? So this guy's name is Florian Munteanu, I think how you say his name. His nickname, Big Nasty, and he's a Romanian actor, fitness model, and my goodness, he's a boxer and he's a kickboxer. So he is playing Ivan Drago's son, and his name will be Victor Drago. And Munteanu was chosen to take into consideration. Munteanu has been chosen taking into consideration the recommendations of Edward Irmia of the Super Combat Fighting Championship, where he was a fighter at its academy. So this guy came recommended, saying, hey, check out this guy. Now, I know a lot of you have argued seeing Florian Munteanu, his pictures, he looks kind of nothing like Drago. That's fine. Look, how many times do we get a real looking, same looking actor and son playing son in a movie or TV show? So they don't look the same at all. I mean, we know that Rocky's son and Rocky Balboa, they both have the same kind of mouth, and that kind of lucked out to have that. But at the end of the day, let's trust the casting, and let's trust that this guy will be menacing on screen and will play it well. We also have the return of Felicia Rashad, who will play Creed's mother, the widow of Apollo. And she did a great job, Miss Bill Cosby. She did a great job in Creed, and I hope her role is fleshed out a little bit more, or a bigger role. And I wonder if she will have a scene with Rocky, because that was missing from Creed Part 1. We didn't have a scene with Rocky and Apollo's widow. That will be an interesting scene. So let's just hope we have something like that. All right, we have Andre Ward. You might know him from, well, he's a boxer. Sorry, he's a American former professional boxer. So he'll be in it. And yeah. And then we have Wood Harris. What's Wood Harris all about? Another athlete. Oh, Wood Harris, or the dude. Okay, so Wood Harris, his role in Creed Part 1, he was the one that Adonis talked to at the beginning outside the ring there at Creed's gym. And he played, did he play Creed's brother? Adonis' brother? No, he played Tony Little Duke Evers. Okay, so he's, I never even caught that. My bad. So he was the son of Tony. Interesting. Did you guys know that? Maybe it's just me. So, yeah, okay, so there you go. So everyone is coming back to Creed Part 2, and then speaking of the movie, I heard a rumor that I guess a trailer is coming out soon, and I'm going to probably be in the middle of the ocean, bobbing around when that trailer comes out, and I won't be able to see it. But, of course, I'll see it when I get into a port, but boy, I can't wait to see that trailer. I can't wait to see the movie, but the trailer always gets you pumped. So on to the movie here. So Creed writer-director Ryan Coogler serves as an executive producer on Creed 2, and apparently the plot follows Adonis Creed training in order to defeat the son of Ivan Drago, the boxer who killed his father in the ring more than 30 years prior. So that's all we have on the plot. I know Mike Kunda and others have gotten some inside scoops on the plot. So it says here, life has become a balancing act for Adonis Creed. Between personal obligations and training for his next big fight, he is rising up to the challenge of his life. Facing an opponent with ties to his family's past only intensifies his impending battle in the ring. And of course, Rocky Balboa is there by his side through it all, and together, Rocky and Adonis will confront their shared legacy, question what's worth fighting for, and discover that nothing's more important than family. Okay. So not really much there regarding the plot, which is good. I suspect the trailer will show a little bit more. I've heard rumors that the movie, interesting enough, starts right away with Adonis winning the title. So we see him as champion. I think it's kind of smart. I think if they want to break away from the Rocky 1 to Rocky 2 formula, I think seeing him champion right at the beginning of Creed Part 2 shows us what we expected to happen anyway, so that leaves a lot of drama for other things in the film. So we'll see if that's true. We'll see if that leak is true. I'm not really giving spoilers here because all of this is hearsay and rumors and conjecture, so I'm sorry. um, what kind of drama? Here's the thing. I don't know what kind of drama we're gonna have between Adonis and Dolph's son. I like. I guess Adonis is mad at the father that he never really cared about, that his father got killed by this guy. But he could argue and say, But I mean, he was an illegitimate son, so his life would have been kind of not bad, but I mean, his life would have been confusing to begin with. That his father was married to another woman when he was born. Creed got out of that one okay, didn't he? That would have been an awkward conversation. But anyways, so I don't know what kind of drama they're going to have, why they're angry. Like, are they angry at each other? Is it just a personal, is it just a professional fight that happens to have a shared legacy? Is Rocky angry at Ivan Drago? Is everybody angry? Everyone calm down? I don't know. But inside scoops say the script is good, that it's powerful. I mean, Stallone is still the author of all this stuff. So, and keep in mind, Stallone didn't write. I'm sure he meddled. I'm sure he, adjusted things here and there in Creed Part 1. But the sole writing credit went to Ryan Coogler. So this is this film being written by Stallone must have been exciting for him. But it will be interesting to see what he does. And I think a lot of people are worried that it might be like a Rocky 4 type cheesiness, but I can pretty much guarantee you that's not going to happen. The guys that are in charge of this film are guys that are in charge of pretty legit series dramas on Netflix and what have you. And this is not going to be a cheese fest. This is going to be a heavy drama. We're going to see Drago in a proper drama. So I'm really excited about that, seeing Drago in a proper drama. Okay, so I think that's all we'll say about Creed 2. We can really quickly, if you want, before I close off here on this mini episode, I guess you could say, because I don't know how interested you guys are listening to me talk for half an hour. So let's talk about Stallone's movie career because some things have changed even the last 2 months. So what he has on the go right now, and as you know, Sylvester Stallone's real name is Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone. So he's still 71. He'll be turning 72 shortly on July 6th. It's incredible. He's worth about $400 to $500 million. Not too shabby. And as you know, he's married to Jennifer Flavin right now. And he has 5 children, 3 daughters with Jennifer, and of course one deceased son, Sage, and his other son, Sergey Stallone. So, what does he have upcoming for movies? Well, we've got Creed 2, and of course we had the movie that was just released, Escape Plan 2, Escape to Hades, or Escape from Hades, or something escaping or Hades. So this one went straight to video. It's got some international releases. Again, I recommend you go to Stallone Fanatics on Facebook and see what Christopher Goff had to say about the film. Read his review. Basically, he just said that, what are you gonna do? It's a fun movie. It's an hour and a half it's 94 minutes long, guys. Let's just be honest here. It's a 90-minute movie, including the credits, and it's got Stallone in jail. So Ray Breslin, Stallone, and his elite team of security specialists are trained in the art of breaking people out of the world's most impenetrable prisons. And that's basically so it's like an Expendables meets Fast and Furious meets what's the word of the movie? What's that? Escape from Alcatraz or something like that. You know what I mean? So their specialist is breaking in and out of prisons. And of course, Escape Plan 3 is coming out right away. They were filmed back to back. So June 29th is the release date for Escape Plan 2. So it's already been, I guess it's out somewhere already apparently, because Chris saw it. But I guess it's nationally or internationally released June 29th. So other movies that Stallone is doing, I should have gone to IMDb here. 1 second, guys. So Escape Plan 3 is coming out right after. And, it's not a bad idea to just do these movies back to back, let's be honest, because Stallone's not getting any younger. And why not? It's cheaper. You got all the equipment out already, and rock and roll. I think it's gonna be a fun movie. I don't mind movies just being silly sometimes. They don't all have to be Creed. Though it would be nice to see Stallone do a little bit more drama, a little bit more like mafia type movies. Like he was supposed to do some of the mafia movie. I forget what it was called, but it's frustrating. And, he's. What about his Poe movie? Well, you want to see him do that Poe movie, Edgar Allan Poe, but it's not happening. All right, sorry guys, just waiting for this to load up here. The Wi-Fi in this Fiji hotel isn't that great. All right, just had to put it on pause. Here we go. So, stuff according to IMDb, we've got a movie called Backtrace coming out. Yeah, 2018. It's a post-production. So what's that one about, you ask? That's supposed to be released before Escape Plan 3. So Backtrace is the lone surviving thief of a violent armored car robbery is sprung from a high-security facility and administered an experimental drug. So I guess it's Escape Plan meets Crank. All right, so that comes out in 2018. There you go. Okay, and then we've got Escape Plan 3 called Devil's Station, and that's coming out in 2019. And of course, the big stuff, guys, is we've got Rambo 5. Rambo 5 is in pre-production with a scheduled release date of 2019. According to IMDb, we're still looking at that movie Tough as They Come. And we don't have a release year yet on The Expendables 4, which is incredible that we're doing a fourth and final one. And Scarpa, and that was the one I was talking about regarding the Mafia. So Escape Plan 3, let's go back to that. So Escape Plan 3, nothing there as far as what it's about, but Dave Bautista is back. I like him. He's fun. So he's back for part 3. Rambo 5 is rumored that Stallone will direct. That'd be great. Writers, a guy named Matthew Cyrulnik and Sylvester Stallone will be sharing writing duties. We've heard rumors that it might be about a Mexican drug cartel. Rambo goes up against a Mexican cartel and what's reported to be his last adventure. All right. So I would suspect, guys, Rambo will die in part 5. Tough as They Come is the true story of the soldier who fought in Afghanistan, Travis Mills, who loses 4 limbs 4 days before his 25th birthday. And when he returns home, he must reconcile with his stepfather and live with only prosthetics for his arms and legs. Yeah, that's incredible. What do you call a man with no arms, no legs who lies in a ditch? Phil. What do you call a man with no arms and no legs and hangs on the wall? Art. And what do you call a man with no legs and lies in front of your door? Matt. And lastly, what do you call a man with no arms, no legs in the ocean? Bob. So these are jokes I used to tell as a kid. So Travis Mills, if you listen to our show, I'm sure you've heard them before, and I hope you have reconciled your state. I'm just having a little bit of fun. Okay, so Expendables 4 is going to be writer Dave Callahan with Greg Poirier. So even Stallone might not be writing this one. Is that good or bad? You guys decide. Okay. And lastly, Scarpa. That's the biopic of Gregory Scarpa. He's the former capo enforcer for the Colombian crime family. So Stallone would be playing that enforcer. So I don't know if the enforcer was older, but let's get this movie made, Sly. This is what we're talking about. This is written by the same guy who wrote Goodfellas. So this guy's no slouch. So let's get this movie going. Okay, well, guys, there you go. That's a quick little recap / hey, I just want to say that I miss you guys. And can I ask a little favor from you, my Rocky listeners of our podcast? Can you please, whether you live in Great Britain, Australia, Canada, United States of America, Japan, China, India, where all our listeners come from, I know you guys are out there. I see you downloading, and you're out there. We get reviews on iTunes. We don't have very many. We have very little, in fact. In fact, we're like, it's pathetic. And we have enough downloads to warrant some frickin' reviews. So this is what you need to do. Get an iTunes account. You don't even have to have iTunes on your phone. Just go online. Just go online and download iTunes. Get an account. And do me a favor, because Ruben and I, we work our butts off for this podcast. I know my fellow podcasters that I've mentioned in the beginning of the show, they work their butts off. Give them reviews. Tell them why you love them. But you can find me on Facebook, Ryan Rebalkin. You can also find the show, the Rocky Series podcast, Going the Distance. That is on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter. Just Google Rocky Series podcast Twitter, and we'll come up. I forget what it is, actually. I think it's GTD with RR at Twitter. See, I don't even remember. I use Twitter all the time, but I just forget what my name is, what my handle is there. But again, just look for us on Twitter. You just search in the Twitter bar, Going the Distance podcast or Rocky podcast. It'll come up, trust me. So we're on Twitter. We're even on Instagram. Same way to find us. And we're on Facebook. Come join the group. Come join the discussions. And So yeah, but the important thing is, guys, I know it sounds silly, but leave me a review. Even if it's a 5-star review is preferable. But once you leave a review, it ups the show. It goes up the charts a little bit. People can see that we exist, and we don't make any money off this. I will never ask you guys for money, but it's just a way of saying, hey, these guys work their butts off to give us product. So I want to say thanks to all that have given us reviews. We have a new one, and I want to read out to you guys. This is what I'm talking about. So this is on iTunes. This is from Mr. Davey Mass, 1976. The title is Great Podcast, 5 stars. Thanks, Davey Mass. And this is from Great Britain. And I want to say thank you and hello to all of our Great Britain listeners. You guys are awesome. UK all the way, USA. Okay, so he said, found this podcast by chance. Well, that's the only way you're going to find us, guys. We have no money to promote ourselves, and nobody talks about us. So, yeah, I'm glad you found us, Davey. All right, so he says, starting off with the amazing interview with Tommy Morrison's wife, Trisha. That was who we interviewed. Yeah, that's the episode. That was our last one anyways. That's a good one. He goes, now he started from the beginning. What a guy. Thanks, brother, because we got 70-plus episodes. He says, Ryan and Ruben, now keep me going on my 120-mile round trip to work every day. So loving the banter, so I'm definitely going to go the distance. Ah, man, Davey, we love you. So he goes on to say, would love to be the guest on the long-awaited review of Rocky 5. He does a laughing face. Well done, Ryder Ruben. Keep up the good work. Well, Davey, we will keep up the good work. We do it for you listeners. And if you want a shout-out to you and you want to hear your name on the interweb from my voice, give us a review. Give us a review on iTunes. And somebody else said, hey, a champion podcast talking all things Rocky. I stumbled across these guys a couple of years ago and have been hooked since. So that was actually Dave Burrell. He's been a guest on our show, but he was another great Dave Barrell. Sorry, I think it's Barrel. I don't know why I want to say Barrell, but he was a guest on our show too. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to be a guest on our show, just like Dave Massey does, just let us know. And Dave, if you're listening, this is going to prove if you really are a listener. So Dave, if you're listening, you message me on Facebook. And if you can't find me on Facebook, then you're not a true listener. And if you're a true listener, you'll find me on Facebook, and you will be a guest during the Rocky 5. But if you don't, then you didn't go the distance, and I'm calling you out on that. All right, brothers. Hey, well, thanks for listening, guys. And sorry, I'm just shooting off my mouth here, and I hope you don't mind. I just miss talking about Rocky, and I miss you guys, man. I miss talking to you. So it's going to be probably another 2 months before a new episode comes out. We're looking at the end of August. But, yeah, so tell your friends. Promote our show. Please leave us a review. Please. I know it takes you 5 minutes. It takes me half an hour to record this. All right, guys. Love you. Keep punching. Ding, ding. And the music you would hear if I had my equipment. Okay, bye.